Hi, it's your girl Lola, and welcome to the Luv Frequency. This podcast is entitled Sometimes I Overreach, and sometimes I overachieve. So I think it's entitled, Overachieving and Overreaching. How to, I guess, magnify your self-worth. And I just want to quickly discuss what overreaching and overachieving is for those of you who have probably experienced it, but may not know that you're actually doing that. An overachiever is somebody who has achieved things but still feels like they have not achieved the greatest thing or the best thing. And they feel a little less than or unworthy in their act of overachieving. So, and then an overreacher is somebody who tries to do too much to prove their worth. They overreach. And I think both of these things, overachievers and overreachers, both have a sense of, doubt and self-worth in themselves. I know that for me as an overachiever and an overreacher, I feel like I have to prove my worth by doing things for people. And I feel like that these two things, overachievers and overreachers, might be in some ways the same thing as a people pleaser, but in other ways it's not the same thing as a people pleaser. A people pleaser just wants to see everybody happy. And I feel like as a reformed people pleaser, you want to see everything happy, and there's no goal to getting to anything, to achieve anything except for everybody's happiness. Whereas an overachiever, as myself as an overachiever, I want to see the things being ticked off my list. And there is a sense of not caring whether what I'm achieving gets in a way of other people's outcomes. So to be able to really depict the difference between an overachiever, overreacher, and a people pleaser, you have to see how you're actually moving in your life. For me, I have to always take an inventory to see, am I putting things off to the future that could make me happy? Am I putting that off into the future? I'm putting it into some distant future. Like, I will do this thing once I do this. Fill in the blank. And this may be like a sign that you are indeed driven to achieve more that's necessary to achieve. For me, I know that I will say to myself, I can go on vacation as soon as I pay 2 months of bills ahead, which is great. But that's the overachievement. I don't have to pay 2 months bill ahead. If I have my emergency fund, if I have my savings, if my bills are current, I should be able to then treat myself for a vacation. But then I feel guilty when I give myself something if I haven't met that criteria that I made for me to achieve, so that I feel like I've done something. And I've been really sitting with this overachieving feeling and this overreaching feeling. And I think that maybe I overreach more than I overachieve. Maybe I promise myself too much, or that I'm going to do too much. So this is an overreach. Like, I'm gonna record 5 podcasts in a day. That's an overreach. I know that that's not going to get done, and I have to be gentle with myself and say, hey, Lola, Leanne, lovely, my love, you cannot do that. Ultimately, mentally, you can't do that. Emotionally, you can't do that. And physically, you could do it, but those are the mentally and emotionally are more important than the physical, ramification of recording a podcast. I could physically change my shirt 5 times, change my ponytail from the left to the right so that it looks like it's a different day or whatever, or it doesn't matter whether it does or doesn't, and do 5 podcasts in a day. But do I have the mental capacity to do it? Do I have the emotional capacity to do it? And that's where overreaching to me comes from, an emotional place of like, I see myself doing this thing and therefore I must do it. Oh my God. And it's like an emotional connection, or you're emotionally connected to the outcome of the thing that you did. And I have in the past beat myself up because I haven't reached that criteria that I have set, like I'm going to do it, and I haven't reached it. And then I feel bad for myself, or I feel mad at myself, or I feel like unworthy to say that, oh, I can do something. Case in point, and this is touching on imposter feelings. I've been teaching yoga since 2013, but and my mind will keep saying to me, because I would love to start doing classes again, but my mind says to me, well, you didn't finish your 500-hour teacher training, so you're really not educated to do that. And so I overreach and say, okay, well, what can I do? Instead of sitting down and finishing the teacher training, I do other things, which is sabotaging myself, but that's a whole nother thing. And instead of sitting down and doing the teacher training like I could do, instead I tell myself that I'm not worthy to reach for these things that could be considered classes for me to teach, workshops, that I feel like I'm not worthy to do those things. I feel like I don't have the education to do it. I have so many healing modalities that I could do, and I just feel like because I haven't stuck to one, I feel very unworthy of them all. That's kind of where my mind went to and my heart has gone to. And then I realized too that it's wonderful to have all these modalities and all these abilities. And I have to remind myself that I cannot overreach with it. I can't say, oh, well, just for me, I can't tell myself, oh, you're not worthy to play your handpan just live if you feel like it. I'm going to use this as an example. Even going live. I've had such a problem with wanting to go live. I used to go live all the time. I used to have a designated time to go live. I loved it. I did a YouTube go live every day for 60-day challenge. I did that, and that was a couple years back, and I loved it. And now I just can't seem to go live. Now I'm like, I don't want to go live. I do not want to go live because I feel, I don't know. It's like this overreaching thing. It's like, I feel like I have nothing to share, nothing to say, nothing to talk about. And I know that there's this part of me that's like, well, you've done this and you have this, you're skilled. I've gone to school for video production. I've directed documentaries. I wrote screenplays, but for some reason, when it's time to sit down and actually record this podcast or any podcast, I have so many problems that I can't even understand. And I think it's because I'm overreaching and saying, oh, it has to be this perfect or I can't put it out. And I feel like that's one of the things that blocks a lot of us, is that we feel like, oh, if I'm not perfect at what I do, then I cannot put it out. And therefore, even though I make these almost unrealistic demands of myself as an overachiever or overreacher, I still feel like I'm not worthy to do those things. So we have to find a way to bring back our energy, pull back our power, and make sure that we're not moving towards a space where we're judging that idea that we want to create things and we want to finish things and we want to achieve things, and we find balance in whether or not we commit ourselves to ourselves. Because ultimately, the core of what we're trying to do is to love ourselves to a place where we are fully healed, fully present in the right now moment, fully present in ourselves. And we're saying, I'm going to do these 3 things. I'm going to listen to myself. I'm going to honor myself. I'm going to hear myself. I'm going to make sure that I'm validating my experience. But I'm going to give myself grace when things don't work out the way that I see them. And I'm not going to beat myself up and say, oh, you're an idiot because you didn't do what you said you were going to do. Oh, how could you not make this happen? Or how could you not create the 5 videos that you said as an example? How could you not play the guitar every day like you said you were going to do? I have these voices because I'm an overachiever. I'm like, okay, I'm going to play piano in the morning, 5 to 10 minutes, and guitar at night, 5 to 10 minutes. Overachiever. That worked for 5 days, 7 days. And then I stopped because I started to get up even earlier so that I can go to work even earlier and come home later, because I was coming home later from work. So it interrupted the whole plan to play the guitar and play the piano. and I haven't played now in a week. Here's my overachiever, and then my overachiever feels like they haven't done anything and they are not worthy to do anything, and therefore it wants to shut down and not create anything, not make podcasts, not do my continuing education for my real estate, not do anything. It doesn't want to do anything. It's like, I bailed out of this one thing that I said I was going to do, and now I can't do anything. So there's this place where I'm coming from in myself, where I'm questioning how to balance the overreacher and the overachiever with the person who ultimately can see things completed in their life, can honor that completion, and can be, I want to say, can benefit from the completion, and to celebrate the completion in the self. So I challenge you all too to find a way to let go of this sense of overreaching and overachieving and try to pull it back just a little bit so that you can say, okay, I can balance who I am and what I'm about. I can balance what it is that I want to create, and I can do it in a way that's not going to be undoing to my creativity. Because see, part of creativity and part of wanting to achieve things is the part that is the play part. It is the part where there's this sense of I want to have adventure and play and create. And in that play part is where we want to get lost in the creation. And that is where that 5 podcasts can come from, and it not make a lick of difference because you're just playing in it and you feel good. So my takeaway from this is how I got 3 takeaways. Maybe more than 3, but I'm going to give you 3 because 3 is my magic number. Number 1, don't be so hard on yourself when you don't achieve what you've overreached and overachieved to do. Number 2, continue to work through the things that you said you were going to do. So if you say you're going to record, I'm going to use that as an example, record 5 podcasts in a day, but you only get 2 done, that doesn't mean you didn't do what you said you were going to do. It meant that you stopped and you needed to restart it. So give yourself grace. Number 1, move forward. Number 2, give yourself grace. And number 3, my biggest takeaway, I think, is that as I struggle through this overreaching and trying to overachieve, or overachieving and overreaching, that I don't want to abandon myself in that process. I can give myself grace, but I don't want to leave myself alone. I don't want to abandon the inner me that needs reassurance, my inner child that needs to know that they're doing a good job. I don't want to abandon that. I want to make sure that I'm moving into that and I'm giving the support that it needs to make sure that it's moving forward. So that's my takeaway. I hope that you gained something from this. I hope that as a overachiever and a overreacher or a people pleaser, you get to see that sometimes you have to move back into yourself and that you have to take care of yourself in a way that really feels good and supporting and strong and safe to you. And that's basically what self-love is all about, is giving yourself a sense of safety and a sense of support, completion, and being able to move from that space. All right, lovelies, I love you. Make sure that you stay in, always, the love frequency. I'll see you next time. Bye.